Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Litecoin Underground podcast, the best place to be. I won't bore you with a long intro this time because we are just on part 2 of the Bitrefill episode with Matt Ahlborg. We go way more into the statistics of what they found when they really dove into the thread with all what their usage is on Bitrefill. Very good stuff. I think the best thing I can say about Litecoin over the last few years is that we're growing quietly. We're not doing it with a bunch of hype. It doesn't require a huge marketing campaign, and people are slowly gravitating towards it because it's widely available and it's easy to use. So I won't bore you. Like I said, I always want to tell you about Cake Wallet. I just told you about it, though. So just go check it out. Download the app. And actually, if you ping the guy who runs it, Vic Sharma, he'll maybe throw you a couple bucks. I'm not making promises. I'm just telling you the guy's very generous. So, all right, have a good one. Enjoy the show. All right, let's get back to this thread because I feel like we got totally sidetracked. I might have to edit this down. We're going to run out of time. All right, so we're on slide 2. All right. So this is
if you want, I can guide it a little bit. I can
go ahead. You tell me when to move here.
You can go fast, but you got to share the slides because I'm not.
Oh yeah, my bad. I have it up here. I've got to just let's do that. Let me make sure.
Yeah. So
the right size you think, or a little bigger? A little bigger.
Sure.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Or is that too big? Okay.
That's good. So yeah, I put the data in several different ways. So I divided it by volume, divided by monthly active users, showed it in absolute terms versus relative terms, etc. So that's what the first few charts do. And you can just, you can on the viewer's own time, they can go through these and kind of get a really good idea. But yeah, you can scroll down to the next one. And yeah, the next one.
So it's relative active users. Nothing to note here except this.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Bitcoin, the percentage of all of our users that are Bitcoiners or using Bitcoin has gone down significantly over the years.
Wow, look at that.
It's almost like currently it's almost as much as Litecoin.
And that's in percent. So it's still the same, roughly the same absolute number of people, but the proportion of our total sales coming has gone down. So if it was 100,000 users 5 years ago, it's still around that right now today, but it's in proportional terms, our company has grown a lot, and it's so the impact or influence of Bitcoin has gone down on our bottom line. Yeah,
is a lot of Ethereum coming from DeFi? People settle in a trade.
Yeah. So yeah, if we scroll down, I'll show you. I kind of comment on a lot of those things. So this chart here just breaks down the average payment size. So you can see the Ethereum stablecoins have the highest average purchase amount on our platform.
Interesting.
And then Litecoin is actually near the bottom. You'll see $54 for the average Litecoin transaction. Lightning is the smallest. So it kind of suggests the types of users using Litecoin. I see it on the platform. Litecoin is more popular in kind of emerging markets with respect to other coins. So here, this chart here shows that since the last tweet thread that I posted, which was over a year ago, the Litecoin ecosystem in terms of monthly active users has gained share.
Well, see, you lump us all together. You keep doing this.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's because I have a Neanderthal Bitcoin brain, and everything else is not Bitcoin.
You might as well label it.
In the next slide, you do separate it.
I do, yeah, because Litecoin really has separated itself from those other coins. I kind of wish so on this slide, you can see that Litecoin is up over 4%, and then Dogecoin and Dash are just kind of very stagnant in terms of payment share. So Litecoin has separated itself from those coins.
Lightning's grown a lot. So I'm curious.
But there's reasons for that, which I'll get into later in the thread.
Okay. The
So
growth of ETH. You want me to read through this, or you just go to charts?
So basically, the thing with Ethereum and why it's so okay, yeah. So let's start with Bitcoin. Basically, it's what's caused its stagnation have been fee spikes over the years. And if you look at the chart next, you can see that we lose every time the fee spike. We kind of lose share, and then also we used to do zero conf payments with Bitcoin, and then we had to stop that in the fall of last year because of too many miners were forcing RBF. So yeah, and you can go down.
Oh, right here, yeah.
Yep.
Which, Matt,
Actually,
since we're on that topic, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I've been
yeah.
trying to push Matt and Bitrefill to get zero confirmation on Litecoin. They sound, if I don't want to reveal anything, but it sounds like you guys are open to it. It just
we are open.
Needs some work to do it. Would it be helpful if anybody from the Litecoin community kind of volunteered to do the work?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
So I mean, we have the team that we have, and it's not likely that we're going to let an outsider come in and also it's hard for an outsider to come in and look at our code base, and it's it's a big code base. So
yep.
That's not likely. I think I'm definitely in favor of adding it. I've been the biggest cheerleader of this idea, but it's a matter of priorities, and we are working on 100 different things at all times, and it's a matter of
right.
like how much impact does this bring. I think it would be a great ad. I did the math on on any given day, something like 40, 40, 50, 60 user hours are wasted just waiting for Litecoin confirms to come through, at a 2.5 block average, a 2.5 minute block average. But I do think it will get done. And if you made me bet on it, I would say it will be done inside of a year. If it's maybe less than 6 months, I'd still say there's a pretty good shot at that, but that's just my guess. And I'm not the decision maker on it at all. So, yeah.
Well, there's anything we can do, even if there was maybe a fundraiser or something. I think we could maybe find, because to me it is a huge upgrade, because blocks are generally, they're 2.5 minutes, no big deal, but sometimes they're 5 minutes, sometimes they're 7 minutes, and if it's something that's no skin off your back, that's sure going to make me much more likely to use Bitrefill than another service. If you guys are the only ones or the first to go, instant, and it's all about forming habits, as we're going to see here. All right, so Lightning, Lightning active users.
Yeah, so our Lightning monthly active users, it is way up over the last year, but most of that growth has come from a single integration that we did with an app called Bello in Argentina. So there's a whole thread on why that happened, but basically, it's not like it's not a bunch of sovereign Lightning users making payments to us in that integration. It's Bello has a Lightning integration with Bitrefill where they're sending B2B kind of Lightning payments to us, and it's great and it works awesome. And they can pay if a user buys like $1 gift card from us, they send us $1 worth of Lightning, and that's actually really cool and innovative in its own way. Is it's instantly settled, unlike when you can't send $1 at a time in most cases. It's costly, it takes time, etc. But
so is Bello kind of like as I go, like I'm at a store or something, I just buy it? Because Cake Wallet had something like this a long time ago, where I'm at a restaurant, the bill's $27.52, I just type it in and buy it, and it
maybe.
How's that work?
Bello is mostly it's just a crypto app in Argentina where you can convert your local currency pesos into usually crypto dollars. And that's getting crypto dollars in Argentina is like a very important thing with their high level of inflation, etc. So that's the base. The core app is just convert your pesos to dollars. And then one of the side things that they can do is, hey, use your crypto dollars that you have, and you can now buy cool products from Bitrefill. And so they're mostly buying like Steam gift cards because, and it's because of the dollar, the official exchange rate in Argentina is not good. So they actually save a lot of money buying Steam gift cards through us than if they were to use pesos and their local debit card.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's a
good
custodial
integration.
service, and
Yes.
it looks widely popular.
Yes. Yep. It's a very popular app in Argentina. So the big thing with Lightning here is that the yellow share represents kind of the non B2B integration share, and even among that yellow slice, it's my prediction that over half of them are just coming from custodial wallets like Wallet of Satoshi, etc. So is there some sovereign Lightning user growth at Bitrefill? I think probably, but it's not growing at the rate that I originally wanted it to be. And so that's kind of the main observation here, and we can kind of move on from here. So
That's cool. I mean, Lightning is cool. I mean, it's like once you get into the custodial world, if you're going to be in the custodial world, Lightning has a lot of use to it, right? It's very,
if you're into hub and cool topologies, it's
once you sacrifice that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The ETH ecosystem, 28.
Yeah, it's kind of what you were hinting at is there's so much money with the ICOs, the NFTs, all the DeFi stuff. There were so many Ponzi schemes going on, so many different projects that there's so much money that's floating in the ETH ecosystem. And over the years, that has led to a lot of them kind of trying to, cash out their profits, etc. So that's one of the reasons why Ethereum is so big with us. The other big thing about Ethereum is Ethereum has stable coins, and that is like a huge innovation. And more value is sent over stable coins than Bitcoin even now. So yeah, and this chart shows that over the last year, most of the stablecoin growth has been on Polygon, which is the sidechain /L2. So what that's kind of suggesting is that the on-chain stablecoin usage, it's kind of being held back a little bit by the fact that like the fees are getting higher and higher on Ethereum. It comes and goes, but yeah, people don't want to pay like $6 to send 100, right? So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Now we get to
the
legacy.
The Litecoin guys always get mad when I call it legacy coins, but it's kind of that's kind of the point that we've talked about already is like it's been around for so long. It's to its advantage now that it's been around so long, and because it's gathered those network effects over the years, it's very similar to Bitcoin. So it's super easy for any exchange or wallet to integrate because it's basically the same thing as Bitcoin. And that is working towards its advantage a lot. And so it's never been more used than now. And I think that's a true interesting fact because it doesn't have the hype that, it's not a hyped coin. Doesn't have like a bunch of marketing dollars behind it.
Yeah.
And yet it's still growing. And I think there's some really interesting signal behind that. Yeah.
Well, I noticed up top, you said the average dollar amount spent using Litecoin is much lower. It's towards the bottom. Do you feel like there's a particular use case that's driving that? Like, is it, I don't know, low dollar gift cards? Is there like a gambling site that people put $10 in?
Well, yeah, I've tried to like kind of narrow it down because oftentimes when we do see kind of anomalies in the data like this, it usually is attributable to like, oh, I understand. Yeah, it's this gambling website and that's what's driving it all, which makes it less organic or less real of an effect, right?
Less broad.
I can't find that. I think the users come from many different countries. It seems like they buy many different products. It seems organic to me.
Mm-hmm.
We all have limited time to look into these things. There's still an outside chance that it's kind of this one single phenomenon that I haven't realized yet. But I think on the whole, the big use case for Litecoin is it's not like Litecoin hodlers necessarily. It's people who have a bunch of crypto and they store it on whatever exchange. Most users in the world still store their money on crypto exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
I would say over half. And they want to buy something on Bitrefill. So what they do is they'll sell XYZ shit coins that they have on that exchange, and then they'll change it to Litecoin quickly, and then they'll send that Litecoin over to us, and then that's how they complete their business. So in a way, it's very nice that Litecoin's being used that way, but at the same time, I think it's not like they're not hanging on to that Litecoin, which maybe that's one of the main reasons why the price hasn't appreciated like you might expect, So
yeah, it's got higher. I mean, if you look at even like you mentioned CoinMarketCap a while ago, if you look at the liquidity, like the amount of volume on a daily basis Litecoin does versus its market cap is always much higher than a lot of coins you would think would be. You think Bitcoin would be bigger or Ethereum would be bigger, but actually as a portion of its market cap, Litecoin's
Right.
usually towards the top, closer to the stable coins, which are like 100% almost. But yeah, so it's just really interesting that it's taken that role. That was the original idea, right? To be this spendable crypto. And I guess the question becomes, is that valuable long-term? And as a in my opinion, as a Litecoiner, there's a lot of coins that people could choose to use. It could be BCH or Doge or Dash or Nano or Monero or whatever, but they are gravitating towards Litecoin, and that's fantastic because there are things that are network effects. I think habits are formed. What you're seeing this spike here, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but
yep.
In 2023, this is when ordinals came in, right?
Yeah.
And so they came on board and they didn't go back, and they continue to grow. And what they're not doing is going, oh, I'm going to go back and try Bitcoin again. Like they gave up, they just moved on. And so,
at least for medium of exchange type things, I think
yep.
You're absolutely true. You're right. There's a big chunk. Yeah.
And so it's
I guess,
yeah.
So you can see also that most of these transactions are coming from exchanges. Is that what you were alluding to?
That's my feeling. That's based on a lot of anecdotal evidence. It's not, as I said, I still leave the door open for maybe I'm wrong about all of this and there's some things going on that I'm not understanding, but based on anecdotal evidence, like it's people have stuff on exchanges, they switch to Litecoin quickly to spend with us because it's easy, there's very low slippage, that type of thing.
So, okay, because I mean, you were saying that it comes from a bunch of different countries, and I was wondering if you, like, how you knew that. Was that just based on their IPs hitting your endpoints? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can see,
and there's VPNs that happen, so that's why it becomes harder to like figure out exactly. But in general, yeah,
you're putting all this stuff together. Yeah. Okay.
You want to gloss over? I mean, we talk about Tron a bit. I mean,
yeah,
stablecoins are interesting. Yeah.
I would have another question actually before we go on.
Sure.
Just
go ahead.
Since we're still on it. Yeah, I was because you guys, you're on my Doge app, right? Or my Doge wallet, sorry. And it's pretty cool. Like if you have Doge in there, you get tipped or whatever, you can buy yourself like a gift card for whatever using Bitrefill. And I was just curious if what kind of KYC obligations you guys have. And
so I don't know exactly, but we have limits like up to you can spend a certain amount each day and all you have to give us is your email. But if you start spending more than that amount, then we do throw the KYC on you. In most cases, for the average user, it's not going to be an issue. But yeah, we do have KYC levels and tiers, and we have a legal team, and we cooperate with law enforcement when they request that type of thing. So yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. It makes sense.
Yeah.
No surprises there, right?
Yeah,
It's the same as when you go to like a Walgreens or a CVS and you buy a gift card. You don't have to like show your ID and all that stuff because it's a petty amount, right? So
yeah, but if you're buying a $5,000 gift card, suddenly you're gonna
then yeah, I think that type of thing would trigger KYC on our platform. Yeah.
Where's Bitrefill based? Where's the company located?
Yeah, HQ is in Stockholm, but we have like, gosh, 90 or so people now, and in like over 30 countries. We're mostly remote now. So
okay.
yeah.
Hey, I mean, if you guys ever looking for a show to sponsor, we wouldn't turn it down. Anyway, here's on Tron.
Yeah,
So
I mean, this chart shows Tron is the USDT on Tron is the largest crypto payment network above Bitcoin and Ethereum. Even there's billions of dollars every day that move over Tron. And if you scroll down, this is where it kind of gets interesting with Tron, and that is Tron kind of made Tron is very fascinating. It was in the right place at the right time, and it was this cheap network that threw Tether on it. They were smart enough to do that, and then they started getting some network effects, mostly in Asia at first, and then China in particular is like the largest exporter in the world, so people started using Tether to do business payments, cross-border business payments, etc. And so it basically exploded, and but the characteristics that made Tron succeed and get to where it is, fast, cheap payments, those are going away now because it's kind of gotten too big for itself. And so the fees on Tron in particular, at the beginning of 23, it was like 20-30 cents per transaction. Now it's like on the chart there, it shows $1.50, but it's even higher now than that to present day. And so we're getting to a point where it's not the same way that it used to be. And so it's starting to price out a lot of end retail users in various countries. And maybe it will form into some more like B2B dollar sending network. And then where does that leave all these other coins? Like, are there going to be other stablecoin networks that kind of step in to fill the void? I don't know, but it's very fascinating.
Well, it's interesting because to me, this might be more relevant to Litecoin's growth than the Bitcoin side.
It could be, yeah.
Because Litecoin fees are like right now, I think they're like 1/10 of a penny.
Right.
So it's really low. I'm wondering what the absolute numbers are of Tron, because there's been a lot of talk about stable coins on Litecoin. I'm surprised it hasn't happened. I just don't know how quickly that would fill blocks up if you had a USDT on Litecoin. Would it put us in that position all of a sudden? Oh, now we're going to see fees spike up. I don't know. I don't know what the usage number. Like if there was 1 million transactions a day, is that about what Tron's doing?
I think Tron does million. I don't know how many Tron does every single day, but it's a lot. I think Litecoin, it's a tough question. There are already other stablecoin networks that are making gains. So Polygon, for example, Arbitrum, Base, etc. So network effects are everything. So if you're not very early to this, putting stablecoins on your network, even if could handle it on a technical level, a large amount of volume, you're fighting an uphill battle against other networks that have already got the lead on you in terms of, it's all Metcalfe's law, the network effects, right?
Yep, no doubt.
If I have dollars on Litecoin, but the person that I want to send those dollars doesn't accept dollars on Litecoin, then it's useless to me, right? So
yep. Yeah, here I'll give you. I just looked it up. What if you were to guess? I'll give you both a guess. How many daily transactions are on Tron?
I would say over 1 million.
Animal, you got to guess. Don't look it up. Don't cheat.
2 million. Yeah.
It says here, as of September 5th, 2024, the Tron network processed 13.78 million transactions in a day.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't terribly
Pretty
far off.
wild.
I mean, one order of magnitude, but
That's pretty wild, man.
yeah, it is, and it's a fascinating thing that's happened, and I think the fact that it's getting expensive, we're going to see some fascinating side effects of that. Yeah,
That is wild, man. I don't know. Just it's interesting. It's one of those things that's silently happening, and it's like you can't ignore it. You have to be aware. This is what people want, and it might just be that short-term transition before we get into crypto. They got to get in the dollar first, right? And then watch the
maybe.
dollar get inflated, and then they'll go, "Oh, okay, this is why I want crypto."
I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities.
Because these governments have got to start saying, "Hang on, I don't want you using the dollar." Like it's got to
You
start
mean
really,
these non-dollar governments, these non-US
yeah,
governments? I
yes,
mean,
BRICS.
they already are. They for decades have discouraged dollar usage in their countries because they know that the dollar, um, reduces the value of their own local currency. The problem
mm-hmm,
is, and the revolution that's happened is crypto dollars. These governments can no longer keep their citizens from obtaining dollars. They used to be able to do that quite effectively because they had the centralized banking systems and they could place rules upon those banks that said that prevented citizens from acquiring dollars or acquiring them at a good price. But
mm-hmm,
now you can go to any peer-to-peer market on the internet and you can trade away your local currency for crypto dollars, and it completely gets around the banking system, the local banking system. And so that's the huge, one of the most untold stories I think of the last 5 years of the world,
mm-hmm.
not just of crypto, is the fact that the entire world is now dollarizing more than
Yep.
it ever has before. And that's saved the dollar. It's saved the US's ass to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I completely. We talked about like why have they not been more harsh? I think they have seen Tether as a tremendous way to grow dollar adoption around the world, and
Yep.
it's currency supremacy. I mean, the dollar is going to become. I don't even understand how banks aren't failing all over these. Maybe they are, and I just we don't hear about it. But you would think you start losing 20% of your user base aren't putting
They
deposits in your
are.
bank
And
anymore.
when you
Yeah,
look at emerging market currencies over the last 5 years, they've been absolutely destroyed against the dollar. Um, and so, yeah, I think 10 more years from now, there will be like 100 less currencies, 100 less fiat currencies in the world. They just cannot compete.
yeah. And it's good. I mean, in a way, it's good when you are able. It's bad for those governments and those people holding that local currency. But if you're working and you're able to produce something of value to somebody, on the other side of the world, to be able to get real value out of your work instead of this like system of having to jump through all these hoops to get anything out of what your work is, it is ultimately good. And we should see a more of a leveling of wealth over time instead
I
of the
think
consolidation.
generally that's true. I still think, it still sucks that they are dollarizing, and that makes the US government more likely to abuse that power, right? Um,
Yeah. But it's a step in the right direction.
yeah. Uh,
Assuming
yeah,
assuming we
I
can
think
ever
it's a freer
responsibly
market.
manage the dollar.
It's a freer market, so that's
Yeah.
always good.
Yep. They're choosing this voluntarily, right? They can change
Mhm.
anytime they want. Okay, so this is just stablecoin. I mean, it looks like this is the only one maybe struggling, probably
Yeah,
because
but
of fees, right? It's more about this eating their lunch at this point in time.
well, if you look at the chart kind of closely, it and I guess I haven't really the observation from this chart is that it's actually kind of flattened over the last year. stablecoin payments in terms of overall share, it's gone up a
Mhm.
little bit, but it's only increased like a couple of percent. Whereas in previous years, it was increasing a lot. And so my point here was that the fact that Tron got expensive and the fact that all these other networks are kind of competing for these stablecoin volumes now, it's fractured everything. And it's fractured the liquidity and the attention spans of all these different people. And so it's kind of, we're in a transitional period now where we're trying to find the next stablecoin network that's cheap and quick and safe. And so that's kind of caused the plateauing of stablecoin usage.
I mean, it looks to me you're getting more growth. I'm telling you, get more growth out of Litecoin. You could
Yeah,
almost, at this point in time, you could almost offer free transactions on Litecoin. Just
but
telling you, as a marketing thing, you probably could.
maybe, but that's hard to
I know you can't promise that. I get it.
engineer that. Yeah.
Just eat the fee. But oh yeah, I guess the users spending the coins. So, but yeah, that's the zero conf thing. All right, so this is probably maybe the one I really am interested in, just because I think the region, I guess, is regionality a word? The
Yeah.
the preference across various parts of the world for some coins over others, I think, is really interesting. Just on, again, habit developing type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try. I don't know if I guess we can kind of see this. You probably have the actual data, but I guess there's a portion of this is monthly active users, MAU.
Yep.
I think you can click on the picture too.
No.
Supersize. No?
Oh, yeah,
Well,
there you
for me, yeah. Let's just start. I mean, I guess let's just go region. You got 7 regions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. North America, pretty clean chart, actually. I guess you got 5, pretty evenly distributed.
Yeah, so
between
it
the
used to
two.
be Bitcoin dominated, and the big change in the last year is that the Ethereum ecosystem pie is now bigger than Bitcoin. So that's the first time that's ever happened. In Europe, it is way bigger than Bitcoin now. So
Yeah,
the
interesting.
Ethereum ecosystem. Yep. When you go over to Asia, you'll see that Binance Pay is hugely popular, and also,
Look how low Bitcoin is there.
yep,
Almost equal with Litecoin, Doge,
yeah.
Dash. Same thing with the
Middle
Middle
East
East,
dominated by Binance.
Africa,
Africa
Binance.
dominated by Binance. And even South America is dominated by Binance, except that Arbello integration in Argentina pushes those numbers up for Bitcoin. And also all of the Lightning activity in El Salvador pushes things up for Bitcoin as well. So that's
Gotcha.
why, but if you were to take those things out of the equation, South America would look very similar to like Africa in terms of like Binance Pay would be dominating. Yeah.
And to be clear, I mean, from those charts, these pie slices, I know you got Litecoin, Doge, and Dash. That's
It's
probably
mostly
what,
Litecoin.
80%, 80, 90% Litecoin.
Yeah. Yep.
That's wild. And then down here is that's ETH.
Yep. Yeah, Australia, for whatever reason, we've always had more. I think Ethereum is just bigger in Australia.
I feel like Australia has a lot of Monero folks. Not just because we have a couple that have come into our place that, for whatever reason, I mean, they've got a weird government.
Yeah, it is.
So maybe
It's
they
really,
go into DeFi to get their money back. But even
yeah.
there, I mean, I'm impressed at this. I mean, I know it's about half of Bitcoin, but again, I keep coming back to the fact we're even with Bitcoin here, pretty close
Mm-hmm.
here. I mean, in all these places, and obviously this is an anomaly, but it's really surprising, like you said, just with uh, the lack of marketing, that it all just seems to be this organic across the world.
Mm-hmm.
Litecoin's held its own, and that it's become that one people have gravitated towards when they do have a plethora of options. I mean, we look at BitPay all the time, and I've mentioned them probably too much on a Bitrefill one, but they have the option of Bitcoin Cash and Polygon and Shiba Inu and all, maybe 20, 30 different coins. And I think even now they have an integration where they can use anything. And it doesn't seem to have an impact. People have developed a habit. It works every time. It's super inexpensive. And so they don't have any reason to leave.
100%
elsewhere.
uptime, right?
Right.
Like no service interruptions, reliability.
Also,
But
it's these outside wallets and exchanges. They all have Litecoin integrated. Like Shiba Inu, for example. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty big one, and most of the popular exchanges have it and such. But all these tiny little wallets and exchanges that exist around the world, like they don't adopt the latest and greatest thing every time, but they all have Litecoin.
Yeah.
And it's those numbers that it's just been around so long and it's so easy to integrate. That's the big deal.
It's got the trust factor too. I feel like, despite what some people might say about Charlie, like he's a man of integrity, and I feel like that's reflected in the project, and has a huge part to do with why people use it. In my opinion,
It could. I think a huge chunk of the users don't even know who that person is. They just they know this Litecoin thing. It's been around a long time, and they tried it once. It worked, and they're going to keep using it.
He says that all the time. He's always like, most people don't even know who I am, so don't focus on me.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, but like heads of exchanges, people that are making apps are more technical, right? And that matters to them. So
yeah, that's true.
They won't endorse it, right? If it's a pump and dump.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, sometimes they do endorse it because it's a pump and dump. But
if they get paid enough, yeah, they do.
You mean like
enough.
ApeCoin? You mean when Bitrefill added ApeCoin because they were paying?
But then these people's integrities is in jeopardy, and yeah, like I mean,
is that the end?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess these are. That is the end. Okay. So this is kind of, I don't know. This is interesting. Low on ERC20 top ups.
That is interesting.
Are top ups generally looking for lower fees? Is that what you think?
I think so. I think, gosh, it's a good question. You noticed the noticeable thing right away, which is that Ethereum and Ethereum stablecoins, they kind of have a lower share. It's hard to explain, but maybe it's just, I don't know. People like using their MetaMask or whatever, and they're okay with the fees as long as, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a culture of Bitcoin where maybe we're more fee sensitive. Bitcoiners are, and so like we would rather deposit into top up. Also, traditionally, Bitrefill is a very kind of Bitcoin cultured and Bitcoin ethos company. So maybe our Bitcoin users are much more experts on Bitrefill usage, and they understand that this top up method exists. That's one of the problems we've had is like a lot of users don't even know that this top up feature exists.
Wait,
so
explain it to me because I don't think I don't know that I've looked into it.
So basically you can make you can top up your account credits with a one-time transaction. So you can send $1,000 of Bitcoin to us, and then you have $1,000 of credit, and you can draw down upon that credit over multiple transactions. So you buy $20 Instacart, you buy a $20 Uber ride, whatever, it's pulling from that credit instead of you having to do an on-chain transaction each time.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You sell it at that moment of top up. Like it's if I spend $1,000 in Litecoin, it's $1,000. Even if the price goes down next week, I still have access at that, like because you've sold it at that.
I think it's the user's choice. They can denominate it in Bitcoin, Ethereum. I don't know if they can. I don't think they can denominate it in Litecoin or stuff like anything else aside from Bitcoin, Ethereum, or dollars. But the user generally has the choice. If they're depositing $1,000 in Bitcoin, they can denominate that balance in Bitcoin or dollars. So,
is there any advantage to doing that?
It's saving on fees.
Well, for someone like a Litecoin where there's not many fees, is it maybe just they're saying like, yeah, I got paid in Litecoin, I just want to move to dollars, and so I'll just
that could
send
be a
it
thing.
all off today, right? Yeah.
It's also convenience. Like when you go to Bitrefill, you can literally buy like a $20 Uber card in 5 seconds from your account credit versus having to whip out your wallet and scan the code and all that stuff. So
okay, makes sense.
But I do think your point about like higher fees definitely are more of a motivation to use this feature. So I think Litecoin users would have less of an incentive because they don't have to deal with high fees.
Especially if you got zero confirmation transactions, then we wouldn't use
Yeah,
it at all.
exactly.
But it is convenient too, because there is a bit of a pain. I know like Bitrefill has an implementation, I think, in the Lite wallet. There was some sort of, I don't think it was anything you guys did. It was just like, hey, we integrated Bitrefill. You click on it and it takes you to the site, but it doesn't link your wallet in any way. So it is a little bit of a pain to go. I got to go copy the address, drop back, copy the amount, right? Like it's a little bit of time consuming. It's still a barrier that I don't get how we haven't gotten past this in crypto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like it's when it's on the same screen. If I'm on my phone, the fact I have to jump back and forth between apps just feels like, why can't
I
I?
hear
I'm sure
you.
there's a way to link up the wallets. There's got to be something that can be done, right?
I think there are ideas out there. It's a matter of getting all of the exchanges and wallets to do that all at once, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a lot of like siloing, like you said, to the collaboration part. The thing that's been so disappointing to me in crypto in general is like when people are protectionist about their information. Like, I don't know if you know what Bell's coin is. Bell's coin has this new coin on that's script mining. It's a long story. You can go watch our last episode, but essentially they're like, hey man, we're going to try everything. If we do drive chains and it works and you can move it over to Litecoin, great. So there's a developer working on something that is being a little bit agnostic about what chain it ends up on. It's more about building something cool that people can use. And I hope that we get away from this. At the worst is like the be Bitcoin only or be this coin only and getting mad. I was like, who cares, man? If people want to use it, it's a free market. Let them use what's useful to them. Because that's the name of the game in the long run is as long as people are doing it voluntarily, like you said, this libertarian ideal, then it's a good thing. Like anytime someone's doing what they want, that's good.
Yeah.
Period. Well, unless not harming anybody
There's
else.
also selfishness though. Like if from an economic standpoint, if I'm a Bitcoiner, uh, you know, it's good for the other person to use options that work for them, but it's not good for me as a Bitcoiner because that means that they're not denominating in Bitcoin. They're not using, so it kind of lessens my bags. And that is a true fact of any coin. And,
Yep.
and I think it's a reasonable tribalism in the sense that like when you're trying to push all usage onto the coin that you have your bags in, that's like a natural phenomenon, right? It's not
Yep.
just a bunch of jerks. Like it's like a rational selfishness.
This is a conflict that a lot of Litecoiners have right now with Bell's coin, right? Because despite the fact that it's making the whole like script miners more efficient in that they're able to process
let me
more
give him a quick
transactions.
background. Let me give him a quick background. Bell's coin was this coin that Billy Marcus, the creator of Dogecoin, created before Dogecoin, and it went dead. Just nobody was using it, and some people found out about it. They essentially relaunched the chain last year,
Okay.
and now it's merge mined with Litecoin and Dogecoin. So its hash power is equal to Litecoin's within 9 months of launching it. But just like with Dogecoin, if it appreciates in price, it pays the Litecoin miners. So I just want to give you a little background so you're not like totally in the dark.
Yeah. It increases generally the security budget for Dogecoin and Litecoin. Same way, Dogecoin flipped Litecoin in 2021, right? In a move that like many Litecoiners still don't understand. But like me, how is that possible? But anyways, it flipped it. And so now even though Litecoin's, all-time low or hitting all-time lows against the Bitcoin pair, hitting all-time lows within the Bitcoin pair, the hash rate is still hitting all-time highs, right? So having a coin that adds to the security network or to security budget is it's a net win for Litecoin and for Dogecoin. But there's a lot of, I say, Litecoiners that don't have that reaction. That they're just like, you guys are diluting, my bags. You're diluting the market share of Litecoin and Doge. And
I think both are true. I think
It is.
increasing the price of Litecoin also increases the security budget, right? So
It's
Well,
it's an interesting phenomenon, and a lot of people, like I myself, am conflicted, but ultimately I've come to the conclusion that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know, if the miners, in fact, like the miners are making more profit, that'll encourage more people to mine script, and maybe take some data center space away from the SHUF 256 miners. Um,
But I want to go back though about the tribalism. Like I know what you're saying. Like it's what you would say is like reasonable greed. I think it's detrimental. It's the people that choose to be unreasonably loyal to a chain by like denying, like to take Tron information and not say, you know what, there's obviously a lot of users there. Like that's information I need to take in. If you just block it out and say Bitcoin only, you're going to go out of business and you're going to just continue to see
I
it over and
agree.
over again. And it's like, and it's so crazy to me when I think Jameson Lopp added Ethereum to Casa and they're just like,
Yeah.
people are, it's like, dude, it's a business. He's in
Yeah.
business. What do you think this is? This is the real
Bitrefill
world
gets
we
this
live
all
in.
the time. You know, when we add the next altcoin, we have people say, what? You know, like, why are you pandering to all these altcoins and that type of thing? So, yeah.
So there's a limit. You can't say I'm going to have 20,000 because you're going to work yourself to the bone for no gain, but you have to look at the landscape. And this has been, I'll keep saying it again, the best thing to happen to Litecoin is that any business that starts today is going to go to the major players and say, all right, who's the popular apps? Bitrefill, BitPay, I think Coins, PH, what are the other ones? I don't know, but there's a bunch of them. And they'll go, what are people actually using? Okay, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin's up there, and so okay, I'm going to add Litecoin, and so it kind of becomes this self-fulfilling thing, right?
Absolutely.
ATM
Coinbase
popularity.
Commerce. Coinbase Commerce has only been around for a year or two, and they were smart enough to add Litecoin because they saw that, like, whoa, this thing is used, and like you said, just keeps the snowball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
That's
More
the
people
most
that use
powerful
it. Yeah, and I think the more people that, as they look for other options, if I'm on Bitrefill and I'm looking to buy a coin, I'm like, oh shit, okay, Bitcoin's $5. Oh crap, Ethereum's $3, Tron's $2. Like you might just go down the list and go, oh, this one's a penny. Okay, I'm just going to use that one. That's it's habit forming and it's sticky, and I think that's been the most encouraging thing with all the downtrend on these pairs and how Litecoin's just kind of stagnated. It's super encouraging to say at some point that will reverse and that this isn't going away. I mean, that you're not, even if the price of Litecoin goes down to $10 or something, people are still using it and they're going to continue to use it because it's the best, most widely available option for them. And that's,
I mean, and even
what else can you ask
stop
for?
using it, like the chain will, the blocks will still keep coming, right? Like because it's like people would have to stop using Doge and Bells, right, for that to happen. But as long as the miners don't,
I don't think we're gonna. But my point is, we're not at the point. We're maybe we're at the point of no return. Can a new coin come out that just usurps everything and everybody uses it all the time? Maybe, but the more habits that are formed and the growth in the usage, that's gets harder and harder to remove that from any exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to transition here, Matt. You've been very gracious. I feel like this has gone longer than I expected this thread to go, but I do want to talk about your PPQ, pay per Q, which is like pay per view. Animal told me. All right, let me. I've got to bring it up though. I deposited a couple dollars, essentially. Yeah, I like the name, pay per Q. Let me. I got to figure out how to share here. Hold on a second. Even though I was just doing it, I promise. Got this figured out. So you want to give me a quick synopsis? Litecoin just got added, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Looking at this information that you. Sorry.
It's your basic AI chatbot that we've all tried out. ChatGPT. Maybe users have tried out something else in varying degrees, other models, etc. Maybe they've made an image or something, but this is that same experience, except it runs on crypto payments. So in most websites nowadays, when you want to try something cool with AI, it's the same flow. It's freemium usage where they give you like some sort of crappy diminished user experience, and then they try to roll you into a subscription. This is different. So you come, you pay $1, $5, 10 cents in Litecoin. You get access to the best models in the world, GPT-4o, Claude Sonnet. You get the best image generation, DALL-E, Flux Pro, Stable Diffusion, and you get the premium experience, but you don't have to connect your credit card. You don't have to sign up for a subscription or anything like that. It's all pay per use, and it works just like all of the others. And it's a very basic premise, but I think very powerful. It's more of the innovation going on here is the fact that crypto is being used as the payment rail, and with that comes instant settlement. As a merchant, I don't have to deal with chargeback fraud risk or anything like that. I don't have to deal with credit card fees. You don't, as a customer, don't have to deal with your identity being leaked on the internet or anything like that. So I think it's a really big win. And yeah, it has a whole bunch of features. You can ask it, what is MWeb on Litecoin? You can ask that right now in GPT-4o.
Let's see. What is MWeb? Let's
explain MWeb on Litecoin.
Yeah. Explain MWeb on Litecoin. And
enter.
Pretend I'm 16 years old.
Yep.
Let's see. So the interesting part is, what did that cost me? Because I had $2 at the beginning. That cost me a penny. This is a ripoff.
1.1 cents. Not bad.
That's cool. So this is like a top up, right? This is very similar to your top up feature, right? I just put in a certain amount and then I've got access to it.
And for most people, this is going to last, like a couple bucks will last them almost a month on our platform. And that's compared to a $20 subscription that people are normally paying. And the value you get from AI, I wouldn't have built this website without AI. AI has increased my productivity so much. So I think it's like you're paying a ridiculously small amount of money for the value you're getting.
Yeah, I'm curious. There's one that somebody was talking about, Cursor AI, help you to develop. Is it easy for you to add more? So you have subscriptions to all of these.
So we don't have subscriptions. We've connected our credit card, so to speak, to these providers. So we're paying them fiat, and then we're collecting crypto, selling the crypto, and paying our bills.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you have a premium subscription to DALL-E that we're borrowing it, right? We're renting space on your subscription.
It's not a subscription though. We're connected to OpenAI's API. So this subscription model is not the only way that OpenAI sells its AI.
Oh,
they also have,
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And a lot of people are not aware of that type of thing. But yeah, so we pay OpenAI on a per image basis, and then we just tack on a margin to it. And it's very basic.
All right. Litecoin's great, but it has two main problems. Anyone can see your transactions and how much Litecoin you have. The network can get slow and expensive when a lot of people use it. MWeb helps solve these problems.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a pretty good explainer, I think. I looked at it quickly, but yeah.
Yeah.
It says it's a layer 2. Basically, that's 2 layers.
And then try an image generation. So you can switch the model at the top. You can first of all, you can start a new chat.
Hey, I'm curious about something, and I don't know if it's possible, but I've seen that demo of the GPT-4o where people just talk to the thing in a natural way. And is that possible with this service, pay-per-queue?
Not yet, but it is something we could add. So
you would have to do you would have to relay the audio, I guess, or how would that work?
Yes, we would be collecting your audio. So you use the remove background, which no. You use the only image generation model that doesn't generate images. So remove background is you give it an image and it removes the background.
Oh,
yeah. But
nice.
so
Okay.
choose Dolly 3, for example, and say, give it that same prompt, create a Litecoin logo or something like that.
Because I'm actually working on this. We're actually interviewing a marketing guy from Litecoin this evening, and I need him to help me out. They're not usually good with words though. That's the thing, but maybe that's just because I'm on the cheap version.
Yeah, they generally are not good with words. We're gonna add ideograms, which are good with words.
Whoa,
But
that's actually
this
kind
ain't
of
bad.
dope.
Yeah, it's only missing one letter. Or no, is it? Maybe is that T?
Yeah.
This is the I and T.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Could be worse.
They do struggle with letters, but ideograms, it's another AI company that just released the beta for their API. We're implementing that soon, and it's really good with letters and stuff.
So like in a lot of AI, I can continue this conversation, right? I can say, you know what, I'd like you to, make it more, add red to it.
Yeah.
Or something, right? Can I do that, or am I kind of like in a silo each time I?
To some degree. There's different types of modifications, but yeah, if you click on the edit, this brings up the in painter. So that's your paintbrush size. So click on the little eye, and it'll tell you what to do. Yep.
Activate the editor, then click and drag within the image to use in painting highlighter. Okay. So let's say I wanted to, I don't know, make this. Well, that doesn't help me.
So then click on the little eraser.
Undo that.
Yeah. There you go.
So I can just freehand something, but okay. Yeah. How do I know what color that's going to be?
Well, so what you're doing is, okay, so for example, do that, and then you're going to give it a text prompt that says, what do you want to go in the red space? Think of something you want to go into the red space.
A Shiba Inu dog.
Okay. So make that area and then type in Shiba Inu. Make the brush bigger.
Now is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. It might work.
Let's add Shiba, add Dogecoin logo.
Okay,
Shiba
and the other thing is, and we haven't done a good job at explaining this, but don't say add, just put what goes in the red blob. There you go. And hopefully it'll work.
This is interesting.
This one is a bit finicky, but we'll see.
It takes a bit of time. It worked on my end.
Oh, you mean like I've got a lag? My computer's not fast enough?
No. It's on their end.
It depends on, it's our provider is doing the work. And it takes time. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh my gosh.
And then go to your account activity.
We're gonna try something else.
So go to your account activity, and it'll show you that cost 1.8 cents to do that.
That's so unstable. A different AI did it.
Yes. So Dolly did not do it. Our InPainter is a different model. Yeah.
So what if I go, hang on a minute.
Birthday hat or something like that.
Hang on. Yep, I'm going to have to add a top hat.
Like a bell?
Cowboy hat. I don't know why. I just felt like doing that.
Let's see.
What's interesting is the animated, so that stable diffusion is more of a realism. And, again, if I don't take this as a critique, but if there are like better ways of, like if I knew stable diffusion was more real pictures and Dolly was more like animated pictures, that would be useful. No, I didn't get a hat. Disappointed.
Oh, darn. It's very finicky. I think if you made the blob bigger, you might have a better chance.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's basically how it works. I played around with it a lot. Yeah. And then put in
that's cool though.
Cowboy hat.
It's good.
There you go.
This is
Try that.
adult. We're adults. We are all
Yeah.
adults here. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have a lot of knowledge about these different platforms and which ones are used for different, like when you say best new model, is it
Yeah.
best in what way? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. I do have more knowledge than the average person, but it's very hard to keep up. Even the experts, it's very hard to keep up with all these insane new models. But in general, Sonnet is, oh, all right. He's wearing a hat.
There you
That's
go.
awesome. Um, it's I do know more than what's being said, but the problem is you have to communicating that to users is very difficult because they're not going to read 10 paragraphs about each model. So you have to find
Yeah.
ways to really simplify, like, what is the big standout thing in terms of like which one is more realistic, which one is not. You can actually tell Stable Diffusion to be like, make an animation or make a 3D thing, or and it will follow those guidelines, so you can make it seem more like mystical or that type of thing. But yeah, it's all a matter of you just playing around with it. So
I don't have a
the other
clever
thing
question.
is, so I want to ask you, I want to ask you as a fresh user to see if you understand how this website works. If you came back to this website later, would your money still be there? And would your conversation still be there? What do you think?
Well, I would assume so. But now that I think about it, I don't know how you know me as a user. I didn't log in or
Exactly.
anything.
So the answer is it will be back. It will be there when you return because your credit ID and all of your previous conversations are stored in the local storage of the browser history. And that's where I'm getting a little more technical than most people understand. But this is a problem that I've had with PPQs up till now is there's no login, there's no account creation flow that everyone is used to. So I think a good chunk of my users, they come here and they feel like once they leave the website, their $2 are gone, and that's not true. And so this is a bit of a new paradigm in terms of a website where it's a website that stores information that you have on it, but it doesn't have like a traditional account. So I need to like find ways to make it more obvious to users that like they can. You'll notice on the left you have your one conversation, but you can make a new chat, and so you can have 10 different chats and go through 10 different chat histories and stuff.
And all this disappears if you clear your cache.
Exactly. That's another hazard that I have to deal with. And I have users come to me rarely, but they'll say like, hey, my browser deleted. How do I get my money back? And this is a challenge because, and this actually is one advantage of Lightning, is that in Lightning payments, I can sneak their credit ID into the invoice memo of the payment, but you cannot do that with other payment methods because it's all public on the blockchain. So, for example, if I put into the Litecoin transaction your credit ID, somebody could just look on the blockchain and pretend to be you and steal your credit ID. So I have to find ways to make the money recoverable with these other payment methods. So it's a bit tricky, but
some kind of ZK technology, maybe.
I don't know. The easiest way is I just show them their credit ID after they made that $2 payment, and I say, store this somewhere safe because if you lose it, it's gone. That's the easiest way to do it. But I don't have to do that with Lightning because they have an encrypted memo. So they can just go into their wallet of Satoshi and look at their memo even 6 months from now and recover their account credit.
Yeah, I see you can export your data as well as a JSON, which is pretty cool. And then
import is coming soon. Yeah, you have files, you have you can, we have a referral program. You can give it a prompt. Yeah, you can upload local files. Like you can upload a PDF and tell it.
I've got an old logo. Let me see if I can find a.
It doesn't export pictures, right?
You can download pictures,
You can,
but
yeah, right.
the export thing, it's not going to export the images. You have to download them individually. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Be a lot of data at some point potentially to do all
I'm
that.
going to be playing with it for sure. I'm not going to mess around with it. I don't got time. We'll do it another time. I've been here long enough.
Yeah,
I've taken enough of your time. Man. No, but it's very cool. Like I think that
one user left listening to this. I'm sure when the podcast is released, because we've been going for a long time. So,
you know, you should join our spaces. They sometimes go long, but it's been good. I got to keep it under 2 hours. That's what I've learned, or YouTube won't take it. The audio at least. But no, man. I mean, I really appreciate you coming in. If you don't, it'd be cool every time you do this. You do the how often do you do it? Every 3 or 6 months you do the statistics?
No, it was like almost a year and a half actually between the two.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I didn't
it
realize
takes a long time to put it together, and there's a lot of like people who have to sign off on it and stuff like that. So
yeah, I got you. Now, overall, it's very interesting, and again, maybe if it's a year and a half, it'll be a good reason to check in. But definitely check out ppq.ai, pay per Q. Yeah, and you can use your Litecoin. It's super cheap. It's great, and and Bitrefill. I mean, I didn't even go to Bitrefill's site. I use it. It's a great way to take your crypto and make it usable. Do you guys have anything like integrations with cards? Or I know, like, I mean, obviously Visa just came out with something where you can spend it, but just everything's preloaded, right? Everything at Bitrefill.
no, we do have a Visa card in Europe now, or a Visa MasterCard, and so you have to go through KYC, but basically you can load crypto into it and spend over time. We also do have prepaid cards where you can get like a $100 prepaid MasterCard or something like that. So you can go different routes, but
yeah, I'd like to. The thing I want to do is find what's the best path of saving the most money using crypto. Because I think sometimes it feels like there's a lot of tools, like it's pay your bills and you get a certain percent off. Like we had a guy from Stack Mobile. It's a cell phone service. You can save 15% using crypto. Essentially, same thing with a lot of these gift cards, right? You save 2, 3, 4% sometimes. You wonder how much can you pile those things up, and can you get to, hey, I'm saving 15, 20%. I don't know. That's pretty extreme, but maybe it's 7 or 8 even. That can be a big deal.
For us, I think the big draw is the convenience factor, and it's just very quick and easy to get a quick gift card and load it into whatever app you bought it for. That's how I use Bitrefill. Is I'll just buy a quick Uber or Airbnb or Amazon card or something like that, and I top up my account, and then when it runs low, I'll top it up again.
All right. Well, hey, I do thank you for your time. It was more than I expected. I didn't expect to go that long. We got a little sidetracked.
I love the discussion around around the histories of all these coins and how things are developing now. So it's cool.
Yeah. Well, we do a Twitter Spaces every Wednesday at 9 p.m. You're always welcome to come in. I'll throw you an invite here in the next couple of weeks. If I'm sure people will have a lot of questions about Litecoin, and we're not Litecoin nuts, right? We understand it has its place, and we're not like someone who you can't talk about other coins. It's reality. So we're pretty open and not very combative. So maybe we'll come in. So all right, thanks, and I'll end it here. But thanks everybody for joining us, and hopefully you lasted the whole 2 hours. If you did, thank you, and have a good one.